All right, UFC 314 this weekend. Back to break down the card, and it is a stacked one. We've been waiting for this one for a few months now, and it's finally here. We had one major pullout, but that does not take down the card too much. This is still a really, really stacked card, and I could not be more excited for this weekend in Miami. What say you,
Yep,
AJ?
I'm pretty excited. Before we get way into it, want to address we have a award-winning writer in our presence right now. Our co-host Preston Palm won an award for one of his NFL articles. So give a
Making our
big
way up. We're making our way
yep.
up.
And also we talk sports here, so congratulations on Florida and Houston to making it to the championship game, and congratulations on Florida winning. Give a big old shout out to Houston though. They played a good tournament.
Great game.
What
Yeah.
what say you? What say
Uh,
you?
I have absolutely nothing to say to the Houston Cougars at all, actually. That is probably the most devastated as a sports fan that I've been watching Duke choke that game away.
Maybe
Maybe
Duke's worst loss
since
ever.
no, it's not as bad as 2022 losing to UNC because like we lost to our rival in the Final Four. We didn't choke it away like we did against Houston, but um no, just the way it happened. We up 7 with a minute and a half left, up 14 in the second half. One field goal in 10 and a half minutes. I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around. I'm not gonna sit here and gripe over certain things or certain players or things that I wish would have changed. But all in all, Cooper Flag, please come back.
He
He's
might
not gonna come back. He's going number one in the draft as he should. But
he might not want him.
it's it's still I think if you still ask people around that know college basketball and that kept up with the season, I don't think the best team in the country won the tournament this year. I still think Duke's the best team in the country, but we just made the mistakes that championship teams don't make. And that's the way it fell. And we have to move on to next season, on to the Boozer twins.
Yep.
So
And
yeah, that'll be appreciate you
uh,
bringing that up right after. I love how you go from me winning an award for sports writing into the most crushing loss I've felt in a while. So appreciate that.
had to let you know after the
Yeah.
McNeese Clemson. But now on to UFC 314. Super excited. A lot of fighters that I like on this card. Couldn't be more hype. The start things off with Jim Miller and Chase, the second coming of Charles Oliveira. What do you think?
Yeah, so I was a little surprised looking at this betting line with Chase Hooper and Jim Miller. I mean, I know Jim Miller's older. I know he's very seasoned. He's been in the game for a while, but I mean, minus 850 for Chase Hooper. I mean, that's just you can't put any money on that. You might as well just throw $5 on Jim Miller to see what happens. I think Jim Miller's more of a live dog than plus 500 against Chase Hooper, but I will say Hooper's really coming into his own right now. He's on a really good win streak at lightweight. He's shown really big progressions in his grappling game. I still do think Jim Miller will have a little bit of advantage in the striking if he can manage and get around Hooper's range and Hooper's distance and that reach advantage that he has. But all in all, I'm gonna ride with Chase Hooper, even though I don't think he should be as big of a favorite as he is. I think his grappling, like I said, has really leveled up in the past few years, and I think it's gonna show against Jim Miller. And I could see this going to a scrappy 3-round decision. I think Miller could have his moments on the feet, but all in all, I think Chase Hooper is going to either hold him down and attack submissions and try to get some ground and pound off for 3 rounds, or maybe catch the submission maybe late second round. So I'm gonna roll with the decision though for Chase Hooper. I think he does. I think he gets a lot of control time in this fight.
I'm going to agree here. I'll also be ruling with Chase Hooper by decision. Um, I've been really impressed with watching Chase Hooper fight. I've watched probably the last 3 of his fights, last 2 of his fights maybe. He just looks really good. I don't think he'll be able to pull off a submission. He wasn't able to submit. I remember I bet on him. I bet on him to finish Clay Guida, and he wasn't able to. And I just think Jim Miller's better than Clay Guida right now.
I'm not gonna lie though. Shout out to Clay Guida. He's a scrappy vet.
He is. He is. So I feel like if you can't really submit him, then I don't see where you can really submit Jim Miller, who's a tough guy who's been around for a while. But I do think he'll be able to get it done and get control time, and take over the ground. So I'll be going Chase Hooper by decision, and I'm excited to see the Chase Hooper title run continue.
Yeah, I mean he's on a 5-fight win streak. 2 of those wins are by submission, and 1 of them is by TKO. So 3 finishes in his last 5 fights. So a finish is certainly not out of the question here, but I think Jim is hard to finish. He showed that in the Bobby Green fight, although that didn't have much grappling in it. I think Jim's gonna be able to stay alive, although be it in a loss.
Yep. Next fight, Yao Xiaonan versus Verna Jandiroba. Yeah, this. Now, I mean, it's a good fight. Yao Xiaonan. Has she fought again since 300, or is this?
I believe this is her first fight since 300, if I'm correct.
Since the fight with Zhang Weili.
Yeah, it's her first fight since 300. Yep.
Jandiroba's on a win streak right now.
Yeah, Jandiroba is. She's got decision win over Luque Godinez. She finished Amanda Lemos in the 2nd round via submission. She beat Marina Rodriguez by decision. She beat Angela Hill, who's been in the strawweight division forever. She hasn't lost since 2021. Her last loss was in 2021 to Amanda Ribas, who is another woman that's been in the strawweight division in the UFC for a long time now. So Jandiroba is really coming into her own now. She's 21-3, and the time is now for her. She's 36 years old. If there's any time she can make a push for the title, it's right now. And I think with a win over Xiaonan, she earns herself a title shot. I mean, Xiaonan just fought for the title. If Zhang Weili doesn't end up going to flyweight next, I think there's a reasonable path for Jandiroba to get the next title shot. Who do you think is going to win though?
I think Jandiroba is going to win, continue her win streak, by decision. I mean, I know she has the ability to get it finished, but if I place this parlay, I will be taking the over on this fight time, as I do with all WMMA. Take the over on the fight time. That's a free little tip right there. But I'm still, excited. Should be a good fight. And I think Jandiroba continues her path to the title.
Yeah, I've got Jandiroba as well. I thought she'd be a little bit of a bigger favorite against Xiaonan, just that Xiaonan hasn't fought since 300, and Jandiroba is clearly going to have the grappling advantage in this fight, I believe. And with that being said, I think she is live for a submission. I would give Xiaonan the advantage on the feet, of course, but I think Jandiroba is going to, honestly, somewhat similar to what I think about the Chase Hooper and Jim Miller fight. I think there's going to be a lot of control time. I think Jandiroba is going to be able to attack submissions and land short shots. But honestly, I think she's live for a sub here. I wouldn't be surprised if she got a sub. So I'm going to roll with Jandiroba. Like I said, would not be surprised either way, decision or submission.
Yeah, you can do it. And now we got the feature fight on the prelims featuring everybody's favorite Dan Ige and
shout out Dan Ige
and my good buddy Sean Woodson.
Good buddy Sean Woodson liked your Instagram post or liked your story?
Liked my story.
So yeah, another buddy of ours.
Another buddy who's on a 4-fight win streak. I think this was definitely his hardest fight so far, with that win streak coming. I could really see Dan Ige. Unranked Dan Ige is a pretty hard guy to beat. I think he was born and just when Dan Ige was born, he was born into number 14 ranked featherweight. So Dan Ige, he's that guy down there. It's hard to get past him, but I will be rolling with Sean Woodson by decision here.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Woodson's a guy that's for featherweights. He's hard to prepare for. He's said 6'2". He's got a giant 78-inch reach advantage. Um, and he's just super tall and lanky and awkward. I think the minus 180 line is just about right as far as betting wise goes. And I think he's going to be able to use that range to land shots on Ige. But that being said, Ige is going to do what he does. He's going to get inside. He's going to try and move past Woodson's range. He's going to try and make it dirty and make it messy. Get up in the clinch, land shots off the clinch. So I think Ige is a live dog here, and I'm honestly going to roll with him. I think Sean Woodson does have the technical advantage on the feet, like I said, but Ige time and again has just found ways to make fights messy and to make fights dirty and to sort of just muck him up. And he even did that with the likes of Diego Lopez on 3 hours notice, gave him trouble, some people thought he won a round. So I I think Dan Ige is a live dog here, and I'm gonna roll with him. I think he can put Woodson away if he gets the right shot off, maybe off of the clinch or just gets inside to land something short. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna roll with Dan Ige here, plus money.
Can never go wrong with any game pick. Now we come back to go to the main card. We have the first fight, Dominic Reyes on a unbelievable run right now to the title. We're so back.
We're so back. Is 2020 Reyes back?
2020 Reyes is back, and also Nikita Krylov is not dead. Was not kidnapped. He's right here, and he's fighting.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, we literally thought this guy died. Like, and people are picking him to win. That's not happening.
Yeah, minus 180. I was a little surprised at that betting line just with the activity here. I mean, Reyes has been active. He's on a win streak right now. And Krylov hasn't fought since March of 2023. I mean, he had a booking against Azmat Mirzakhanov, which was supposed to be on the John Jones and CBA Miocic card back in November of last year. But outside of that, he had a fight night canceled with Ryan Spann in February and then beat Ryan Spann in the first round, submitted him in March of 2023. And we haven't seen him since. We're now 2 years without Nikita Krylov in the octagon. So I think ring rust is going to be a real factor here. And I think with just where the momentum is right now for Dominic Reyes on a win streak, coming off of wins over Anthony Smith, who didn't want to even be there, over Dustin Jacoby, which was a really good win. Dustin Jacoby's a highly skilled former kickboxer. Knocked him out in the first round, and then also beating Ryan Spann quicker than Nikita Krylov did back in 2022. So it's Reyes is on a roll right now, and he's starting to gain that momentum back, starting to gain his confidence back, and we just haven't seen Krylov in the octagon for a while. I'm not sure what to expect here from him. So I'm gonna roll with Reyes. I think Reyes just has all the momentum going for him right now, and I love him at a plus 150 money line, with the fact that he's just been more active and Krylov hasn't been.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Dominic Reyes is able to go in there and, like I said, continue his path to the title. And we'll finally see him again fighting for the belt. Maybe he even wins this time. Who knows? But I'm excited to see him continue.
Well, let's clarify. Dominic Reyes is not getting a title fight off of a win over Nikita Krylov, but
no, he's
on his way up the division. He's working his way up, and I mean a win over Nikita Krylov is going to put him in a big spot at 205, maybe against the likes of potentially a Khalil Roundtree if that doesn't get rebooked with Jamal Hill.
It already did. I think it's in Azerbaijan or Azure. I don't know how to say it. It's a fight night.
Is it really? I have to look at that.
I think
But
it did.
regardless, it can put him up there in a bigger fight in the upper echelon of 205 with a win over Krylov, who's been one of the guys in the division for a while. It's been ranked, has been talked about highly. So I'm interested to see how Krylov looks after 2 years of not being in there. But that being said, I am rolling with Dominic Reyes. I think Dominic Reyes is very live for a knockout here. I
Yeah,
think he'll be pressing forward. I think he's going to shoot those straight left hands like he always does, and I think he'll be able to connect. I'm going to roll with Reyes by TKO.
couldn't say more. We've got no, we didn't. Okay. Next fight, people's main event right here.
Hmm.
Good versus evil, as Bryce Mitchell said. The flat Earth versus round Earth fight right here. Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. CTE versus autism.
That's so crazy. Um, yeah,
Uh, I'm excited.
I'm so
Whoa, whoa,
pumped
whoa,
for this. I mean,
whoa.
yeah, if we can stop looking at NFL teams here, we're way past football season, bud. Um,
Yep.
but that being said, I think Bryce, crazy enough as it might sound, and I know Gene's got all the momentum in the world right now. I'm not picking Bryce Mitchell. I'm not picking Bryce Mitchell. I think Gene Silva's gonna win. Let me just spoiler alert there. But I think Bryce Mitchell at a plus 190 money line, and on some sports books he's even higher than that. I think he's a live dog. I mean, he's 17-3. He's gonna have the. I think he has the grappling advantage over Silva, and he's shown in fights where people have seemed to think he would have a disadvantage in the striking that he can connect with some of these guys. I mean, I know the image of him getting put away by Josh Emmett is still in everyone's minds, and it's something that's always gonna sort of come back and be a reminder whenever we think about Bryce Mitchell as of late. But I mean, I think he's a live dog here. I'm really not. I'm confident in Gene Silva winning. I think he's gonna have the striking advantage, and I just like the momentum where he's at right now. But I'm not minus 235 confident, if that makes sense. Um, I'm still gonna roll with him. I think it's gonna be a fast paced firefight. I think this is has a chance to win fight of the night. Um, and I could see, regardless of who wins, it being a finish. So I'm gonna roll with Gene Silva, but I would not be surprised one bit if Bryce Mitchell can sneak a win in here, potentially get a submission over Silva, because this is a big jump in competition for Silva. I mean,
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell is a guy that's been tested at 145. He's only lost to the best guys. I mean, his two last losses were Josh Emmett, who has fought for an interim title, and then Ilya Taporia, who is until Saturday night still the featherweight champion. So Bryce Mitchell has proven time and again that he just finds ways to win. Um, that being said, I'm still gonna roll with Silva, but I'm hesitant. I will say I'm hesitant. Also, I'm a little worried about Bryce Mitchell because I don't know if you've been watching Embedded, but or on some of the UFC social clips, but I saw Bryce Mitchell at media day wearing white shorts, like taking his media day photos with white shorts. I did not see him in camo shorts. I don't know what's going on. I'm a little concerned because if he's not wearing camo shorts, I'm not picking him. I'm sorry. I think all aura that he has
Yeah.
in the octagon with the camo shorts is just
Yeah.
gone.
I know. So with that, I know that fighters sometimes will have to take their media day picture. Okay. Uh, Technical difficulties here, guys. I just went away.
What's going on your end?
Yeah. This tab just closed for no reason.
I
You
still
still
see it
see
on
it?
my screen.
Really? I don't. Now we're here.
We'll
Uh,
edit this. We'll edit this out.
nah, it's all right. What I was gonna say though, while we get this pulled up, some fighters will take like Alex Pereira did this when he fought Magomed Ankalaev. He took his media day pictures in the just regular championship shorts, I believe, and then come fight night, he wore his actual custom shorts. But also, maybe Bryce Mitchell lost his privilege. Maybe he doesn't get to wear his shorts anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you say some of
After
the things that Bryce Mitchell has said over the last few months, and maybe you do lose the camo shorts privilege, but I mean, surely he's wearing the camo shorts. I was a little taken back by that because yeah, I agree with you. I've seen that with fighters where they sometimes wear different shorts for media day, but I mean, I've seen Bryce Mitchell wear the camo shorts on media days in prior pay-per-views and like during embeddeds and everything. So I was just a little taken back by it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but that being said, rolling with Gene Silva. If I had some glasses on, I'm putting them right now. Fighting nerds. Let's go.
oh, mine are over there. I have some for the trip to Kansas City that we'll be taking. Should have had them ready to go right now. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, I'll also be rolling with Gene Silva here. I don't know how confident I am in knockout because I know he's got the power and Bryce has been cracked, obviously. But I'm kind of just feeling Gene Silva by decision here. Good fight decision. Like it's gonna be good. I can't see him definitely knocking him out. But I also wholeheartedly agree with you with the whole Bryce Mitchell thing. Minus 190 is crazy.
Plus 190.
Or plus 190, yeah. The Charles Jourdain fight, we saw Gene Silva, albeit before knocking him out cold. He was getting out wrestled in that fight. And I will say, Bryce Mitchell was a very better wrestler and grappler than Charles Jourdain. So I wouldn't, I'll be scared if Bryce Mitchell gets it to the ground and he takes Gene Silva's back. I'll definitely be, that could be a lot of trouble for Gene Silva. So he's definitely got to look out for that. Hopefully he's been on his wrestling. But yeah, going with Gene Silva on this one too. Riding the fighting nerds hype. Maybe hopefully Clip Farms. But yeah, man, super excited for that one. Now we have the the featured fight.
The tri main event.
Yeah, the Bellator fighter coming over to UFC, Patricio Pitbull versus Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah, Patricio Pitbull, double champion in Bellator, attempted to be triple champion, it did not work out. But coming in, UFC debut,
knocked out Michael Chandler.
Knocked out Michael Chandler. Back when he fought at 155 in Bellator. We'll see how his punching power will be against Yair Rodriguez. Coming in for a UFC debut at 37 years of age, I would have liked to have seen him come in 2 or 3 years ago, especially at a lower weight class like featherweight, and it's seeming like he's not going to move up to lightweight. We'll see what happens if he loses to Yair. But I mean, Pitbull's super well-rounded, has power in his hands, as we've seen. It's carried over in multiple weight divisions. But Yair's hard to prepare for. Pitbull has done a lot. He's had a lot of fights. He's had over 40 fights in his career professionally, and that's not even counting some of the amateur ones he's had. But he's never seen a guy like Yair Rodriguez who has the skill on the feet, the creativity on the feet, who kicks like Yair does. I mean, I'm rolling with Yair here. Yair's 32 years old, right in the middle of his prime, will have the reach advantage. And I think Pitbull's going to have a hard time dealing with the reach, dealing with the diversity and creativity of Yair's strikes and how he will throw all of them. So I'm rolling with Yair. I think Pitbull is a live dog in a sense. I don't mind the plus 160 line. I think the betting line is right on par for this fight, giving Pitbull his respect to a degree. But I'm just rolling with Yair. I think Yair is still in the prime of his career, can still make another run at the top of the division, especially with Topuria out now. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with Yair here. What say you?
I will be rolling with Patricio Pitbull in this fight. I'm taking Patricio Pitbull by knockout. I don't know what it is, but some of these fighters that come from Bellator, come to UFC, just have this type of flawed armor when they first joined that they just really can't lose. I feel like that carries over here. Patricio Pitbull I think is very good. Now, not to say that Yair isn't, but I mean, what his last fight he lost to Brian Ortega, right?
Yair?
Or yeah, or did he beat
Yep.
Brian?
Yep.
He
Yeah.
lost to Brian Ortega.
Lost to Yair. Got submitted.
Um, wait, Brian, who lost? Brian Ortega lost to Yair.
No, Yair lost to Ortega. I said that wrong. My fault.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So and I mean, we know where Brian Ortega's at right now. Uh, so I just think Patricio Pitbull again. Yeah, the age is a factor. 37. You know, on the older side, he'll be making a push to no title anytime soon. But if he does, it has to start now. And it has to start with Yair. So I'll be rolling with him by knockout. The co-main event, another absolute banger of a fight.
This might be the people's main event. Love Gene Silva, but this might be the people's main event.
Yeah, this one insane. Iron Michael Chandler versus Patty Pimblett. What do you think?
I think the most interesting thing about this fight is the fact that it's scheduled for 5 rounds. And I say that because I don't necessarily love that for either of these fighters. We haven't really seen Patty's gas tank get tested like that. We've seen Chandler's gas tank get tested because of Chandler's wild style and how he has a tendency to throw caution to the wind and just go out there, look for a brawl, look for that fight of the night check. That being said, I do think Chandler will have the striking advantage here as long as he stays poised and he stays sharp. Because I think whenever he does stay locked in and doesn't throw too wild, he can land heavy shots with them being technical. That being said, I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't know if Chandler's going to follow any sort of game plan that his coaches give and not just go wild like he has before. If it goes the distance, I think that will favor Patty Pimblett because if it goes the distance, I think it's going to mean that Patty's going to get a lot of takedowns. He's going to have a lot of control time, um, and will be attacking submissions. And to be honest, I don't see Chandler getting submitted here. I mean, the guy's fought Charles Oliveira twice. He said he's been in there for 7 rounds with Charles Oliveira. Hasn't got submitted. Got submitted by Dustin Poirier after being hurt. So Chandler's hard to submit. I think I'm gonna roll. With all that being said, I still just think Patty lives his chin a little bit too high. You know, you see him in his fight posture whenever he's on the feet and in his stance. The commentators are always bringing out, DC and Rogan are always bringing up how his chin is high up in the air, how he leaves it there whenever he's evading strikes. And I think Chandler's going to be able to catch him. So I think a Scouser might get knocked out here. And I think Chandler will get it done in round 2. I'm going to roll Chandler by TKO in round 2. I think he gets a big comeback win at plus money. So I'm going to roll with Michael Chandler.
Wow. See, I've been, ever since this fight got announced, I've been thinking about it. Like, man,
I've been going back and forth. For sure.
I've been like, how's this gonna play out? This could happen, but then this could happen. I've just been like, I don't know who's gonna win. But one name did keep coming back to me the entire time. One name could be like, I didn't think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna get it done. He's gonna find a way. I think that for the first time since washed Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler will get his win. He will get his 3rd win in the UFC. And I'm here for it. I love Michael Chandler. A lot of people, they say what they say about him. Genuinely one of the best dudes in the UFC, I think.
Just had his 3rd kid.
He just had his 3rd kid. Congratulations to him. But both these guys, I'm not to say Patty's not a good dude. Both these dudes, real big advocates for men's mental health. And both these guys, really good dude. But I just love Michael Chandler, what he says, what he talks about. Just like I said, one of the best dudes in the UFC, I think. And, never ever in a boring fight, Michael Chandler. Even when he loses, I've never watched a Michael Chandler fight where I haven't been like, pumped and hyped the whole time.
I can tell you before you keep going, I can tell you one thing that's going to happen whether Chandler wins or loses.
We're getting that Conor McGregor call out.
We're getting the Conor McGregor call out.
See
Always.
you at
And
the top.
Conor actually did post on Instagram, I believe it was either today or yesterday, that he posted a video of him hitting pads, which obviously we've seen that plenty of times and it leads to nothing. So I'm not saying look out for Conor anytime soon, but Conor did post on Instagram and said that he was paying attention to the Pimblett versus Chandler fight. So
he's gonna call out Conor McGregor or Ilya Taporia, one of the two.
Very well could.
But yeah, man, I've just been feeling Michael Chandler this whole time. I don't know why, I'm just thinking he's way overdue for a win. He said he's going to go in there and methodically walk him down, which that doesn't go together. I imagine that game plan will be thrown out the window after round one. And I hope we just see a really fun fight, man. I hope we just see, I just think this has
I don't think we have to worry about that.
Crazy fight of the night potential. Patty is on a crazy one right now, I will admit. Undefeated in the UFC. Making that push to the title. It seems like he has kind of crazy plot armor. But
that's another thing about this fight is that this is a giant step up in competition for Paddy Pimblett. I know Chandler doesn't have a winning record in the UFC, but Chandler is a proven guy. Had his runs in Bellator, has been competitive with some of the best at lightweight, even in losses. So this is a giant step up for Paddy. So I want to see how he handles it. And I do think Paddy will have his moments if the fight goes long. And even in a short fight, I could see Paddy having his moments, maybe catching Chandler on a few shots. But ultimately, I think Chandler has the advantage with the punching power. And I think he's going to be able to back Paddy up. And I think he's going to be able to land a really clean shot. So I'm going to roll with Chandler.
I agree. We have the main event for the vacant featherweight title. Super hype. Another good buddy of mine. Excited. That's all I can really say. I remember when we got the announcement first. I'm not saying I called anything, but I, told my brother, I was like, we're either getting Volk versus Ilya or Ilya vacated and we're getting Diego versus Volk. And that's what we got. So super excited. You've seen the pictures. I don't know if you've seen them. I'm pretty sure you have. Volk is in insane shape right now.
Volk is shredded right now.
He said looks way better than he does for the Ilya fight.
It's honestly it's pretty appropriate that Volk has the custom shorts going in this one with the Greek letters and the Greek styling because he looks like a Greek god with how his physique is right now. I mean, not trying to glaze Volk, but he looks to be in insane shape. He said during this camp on yesterday's media day that he didn't have a drop of alcohol during the whole camp. He ate super clean. So I think Volk has been dialed in like maybe never before, which is hard to say because we obviously know Volk's track record. But I think the motivation is at an all-time high for Volk right now. Wants to get that title back, wants to prove to the UFC, to the world, that he's not washed up, that he's still championship caliber, and I think he's just gonna show the competitor that he is, win or lose. I think he's just gonna show that he's still game in the division. That being said, Diego Lopez is a freight train, and Diego Lopez is gonna come forward. He's gonna fight fire with fire. He's gonna be fast. And I'm interested. What I'm most interested in this fight is one, if needed, Diego Lopez's gas tank. And then two, how much of it will actually play out on the feet or how quickly Diego will shoot if needed. Because Diego is willing to stay on the feet with anybody, it seems. So I'm super fascinated stylistically by this. But as I was saying before with Volk and his preparation for this fight and how dialed in he seems, I think it's all going to come together for him. I think he's going to buck the trend of the 35 and older title fight record. And I think Volk's going to get it done by decision. I think he's going to outpoint Diego Lopez. I think it's going to play out a lot on the feet. I think he's going to be able to get inside the slight reach advantage that Lopez has. And I think Volk's going to be able to pick him apart on the feet. Honestly, I'm excited to see what Lopez can do. I think Lopez could have his moments, could win a few rounds off of control time in the grappling, maybe getting some shots off from top position. But I'm just, I'm all in on Volk. I truly think he's more dialed in than he's ever been before, and I'm gonna roll with him at minus 150.
Volk's getting the fucking milk bat, boys. No, he's not. I'm rolling with Diego Lopez here.
Pump fake.
I'm rolling with Diego Lopez here. I absolutely, and this is not, I'm not diminishing. I love Volkanovski, one of the greatest featherweight we've ever seen. Only dude to ever 50-45 Max Holloway. That is insane. That can't go unnoticed. But you know, after coming off 2 insane knockouts back to back, albeit he took a very long time off from his last fight. He wanted to, like I said, he wanted to make sure that he was good and ready to go. I don't ever know why anyone in his team ever let him take that Ilia Topuria fight right after the Islam fight. But that's just that speaks to the kind of man Volk is. Volk's, he's one of those guys who just is always willing to fight. And it's really hard to pick against Volk just because of who he is and his track record. But I just think Diego Lopez is, he's crazy right now. He's on an insane run. He has that power in his hands. He's not afraid to go on the feet either. He was just, 2 months ago, he was up here in Oklahoma training at Oklahoma State, who, if you don't know, very prestigious wrestling collegiate program there. They just had the dude beat Gable Stevenson, who one of the biggest upsets in I don't know if you follow collegiate wrestling.
Yeah,
one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen in college wrestling. Gable Stevenson was an Olympic wrestler, and he was going for his 4th national championship and lost to one of the dudes that Diego was training with. So that speaks to the wrestling there. So the wrestling is there. It's gonna be good. And I will say Diego has to play it a little more safe than he normally does in his fights. He likes to go up there and just swing big meaty hooks. That's not going to work with Volk unless you catch him early. If you keep doing that the whole 5 rounds, it's not going to work. So he's going to have to do a little bit more better placement, better striking. But I think he can get it done. Rolling with Diego Lopez by knockout.
By knockout.
I think when your chin is correct, especially Volk's always been a little bit chinny, but especially how it's been fracked these past 2 times, it's just nothing that can really repair that. And I think Diego Lopez is going to be able to find it, especially when they get those little clinched pocket exchanges. That's where Diego Lopez really does well. I think he's going to be able to catch him with a mean uppercut. And I've got Diego Lopez.
So you think it's going to play out similar to the Siddiq Youssef fight? Maybe not as quick.
Not as quick, but I think something like that could happen.
Interesting. Whenever you said KO, I was imagining you were going to say that it was going to be off of maybe some ground and pound because obviously Diego is going to have the grappling advantage here.
Could be some ground and pound.
Yeah.
But I just, Diego Lopez is very dangerous in the pocket. And
1,000%. I think Lopez is a live dog. I don't disagree with the betting line one bit. I think it's spot on, but still rolling with Volk. And that's why we have the fights. We'll find out this Saturday, and we will react to it probably that night or Sunday. So stay tuned for the reaction episode, and we will see y'all then.
Later. Hey, bro. You left. It's still recording too.
Oh, bet. That's fine. That's fine. I thought I absolutely just killed the call.
No, it's like there's like the